So this is success tips for beginning educators. Me, KJ, Wesley, and Cam are going to do this together. And I'm going to let Cam start us off with his tips and experiences that he learned during his field experience projects.
All right. So starting off, assessment is more than grading. It is a continuous feedback loop that actively informs instruction and student learning. And I observed how formative and summative assessments, when paired, create a comprehensive picture of student understanding. So not only formative, but summative assessments are a good pair in a classroom setting and outside of classroom setting, even in sports. You never want just one or the other. Both are good. And technology strengthened this process by storing long-term data patterns, helping the teacher adjust instruction more effectively. So not just using just written information on a paper, but storing it technology and flash drives and other things like that helps it be a little bit more organized. And then formative assessments such as quick checks, exit tickets, and quizzes help teachers monitor learning in real time. Summative assessments allow students to demonstrate mastery at the end of the unit. Miss Harrison explained that in short, answer items reveal depth of understanding better than multiple choice questions, highlighting why teachers need multiple assessment types. And digital record keeping prevents lost papers and allows for organized, accessible student data. So, like I said earlier, digitally recording your statistics in your class and your students' grades and tracking their progress is a lot better than writing it down on a piece of paper. And I noticed that tracking trends digitally helps identify misconceptions early, enabling targeted interventions for students who need support. This use of data reflects modern assessment practices grounded in evidence-based teaching. And blending tech-based assessments with traditional methods creates opportunity for differentiation. So not always having online multiple choice questions is obviously that is good, but it's also good to have written tests and short answers or short written answers to really get your students' mind going and have differentiation with your assessments. And students benefit from assessments that match their learning needs, and teachers gain deeper insights into their progress. With that, these practices demonstrate feedback loops, scaffolding, and educational psychology principles aimed at supporting diverse learners.
Okay, so during my field experience, I observed that effective classroom management begins with building strong, positive relationships, um, not only with students but also students and the rest of their peers. Students respond better when they feel seen, valued, and respected. You got to develop that relationship to ensure that they feel comfortable in a classroom. Um, and Miss Drake also emphasized that understanding students on a personal level builds trust, leading to greater engagement and fewer disruptions overall. By building that trust and connection with the teacher, it develops a better relationship between the student and the teacher, and the student will show more respect to the teacher and listen up, pay attention whenever the teacher's talking and stuff like that. When addressing misbehaviors, Ms. Drake remained calm, used nonverbal cues to prevent escalation. So, say she was talking to a student and noticed, kids off to the side, just talking and, being a distraction to others. What she would do is, maybe look over to them, make eye contact, and, maybe raise an eyebrow or something like that, or, kind of fan it down like that to, calm the noise down. And if she needed, she held private conversations after class to uncover root causes and reestablish expectations respectfully. So, not making a big distraction during class, she would just tell the student, after class, come see me, and they'll talk through the issues and, kind of find a solution between, where they're not seeing eye to eye on those things. These techniques reflect behavioral management theories that prioritize empathy, consistency, and clear communication. Student motivation in PE depends on engagement and meaningful choices. Giving students the opportunity to have student choice is big. It doesn't always have to come from the teacher. It doesn't need to be, direct teaching from the teacher. It can come from, students and also their peers. Coach Gatz encouraged students by offering activity options and setting personal goals, allowing them to take ownership of their progress. So, a personal goal could be to be kind to all students. A personal goal could be to, reach 60 on the PACER test, just small little things like that. Also, I observed that focusing attention on the majority of motivated students uh, helped maintain momentum while still supporting reluctant learners. Goal check-ins and positive feedback strengthen students' confidence and persistence. So checking in with the students during the school year, reinforcing feedback to them, help with their confidence and help with their motivation to keep on going and performing better in the class. By celebrating progress and encouraging continuous improvement, the teacher nurtured intrinsic motivation. These practices align with self-determination theory, promoting autonomy, uh, competence, and relatedness for deeper student engagement.
So during my field experience, I observed that the PE classroom management relies heavily on clear expectations, consistent routines, and strong teacher presence. So obviously, start of the school year, you want to set clear guidelines and expectations for your classroom so students know what is acceptable and what's not acceptable in your classroom. That way, there's no confusion. As a teacher, you have to stay consistent. Obviously, there's give and take. You have to know your students, but your rules and your guidelines have to stay the same. What you do for one student, you have to do for the other. Try to stay away from favoritism, and then have that strong teacher presence. Like let your students know that you are the teacher. It is your classroom, and that you're there to make sure that they learn and that you're in control. During my experience, Coach D emphasized that students thrive in structured environments where expectations are predictable and fair. Once again, you have to have that structured environment. Kids just thrive in that. Like they know when they get to your classroom, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to move through it quickly and safely. And my classroom's predictable. I don't want them to come in and it's going to be chaos. They're like, oh, don't know what we're going to do today. I don't want to do stuff on the whim. And I want to remain fair to all students. Coach D addressed like issues such as like low effort through one-on-one like discussions, modeling enthusiasm and reinforcing positive behaviors. So if you notice a student has low effort, talk to them one-on-one, see what's going on. Try not to, like, if it's a constant issue, drill them in front of their peers. That'll cause them just to break down even more. You have to be enthusiastic if you want your students to be enthusiastic, and then stay positive. Encourage those positive behaviors within your students, and let them have those positive behaviors to their peers as well. Coach D mentioned like her methods for like reflecting key educational psychology theories. She like kind of like her reinforcements focus back on Bandura's modeling through her own effort and behavior, self-determination theory by supporting autonomy and belonging. So she was kind of like one of those like really big believers in like how you role model pretty much. You have to be a role model for your students. Like practice what you preach. By doing that in your classroom, you wouldn't do anything that you like would want your students to do. She stressed that adaptability and recognizing that not every strategy works for every student. You have to adapt. Not every day is going to go the same. There are going to be instances that happen. You're going to get kicked out of the gym. It's going to rain. You have to be adaptable, move on the fly, and realize like, so you're going to have athletic students who play sports, and you're going to have students who aren't athletic at all and just want to sit and draw. You got to find a medium and meet in the middle. That way you can get max participation from your students. I also shadowed Miss Cave in her kindergarten class. She demonstrated how role modeling shapes behavior through observation. be the person that you want the kids to be in the future. We are teaching the future. So you want to be that strong, positive role model, because you're going to have a lot of students who don't have that positive role model at home. So you want to step up and really show them what it's like to be kind and smart and like active for a lifetime, especially being PE majors. Like that's our goal. We want to inspire our students to take what we are teaching them and use it and carry it throughout their lifetime. Ms. K's calm and empathetic demeanor influenced students to mirror those behaviors. So, obviously she had a structured classroom, but she was caring and she was empathetic and she was calm. Like she always remained calm. Like even when her students were like being a little rowdy that day, she stayed calm and focused and like care for them. Like, hey, what's going on? Why are we so rowdy today? She didn't just like punish them, and also noted that like the social theory was clearly visible, as students learned emotional control, kindness, and perseverance through modeled actions. They saw her stay calm if they were stressed and anxiety on big test days. Like they stayed calm too because they realized like stressing was only going to make the matters worse. Um, During my observations in the classroom, I learned that effective role modeling also involved explaining behaviors and giving student opportunities to practice them. Once again, do and act and say how you want your students to do as well. Um, Children is monkey see, monkey do. They see you going around, acting crazy. They're gonna, oh, that's an adult acting crazy. Like that's okay for us to do it. You have to be how like remain how you want your classroom to respond as well. So Ms. K's consistent tone and high self-efficiency created a positive environment where students felt capable and supported. Through these observations, reinforced my belief in leading by example with empathy, patience, and intentional behavior. I think that's a big one. You have to be a leader. You have to set the example. You also have to remember that they are kids, they are humans. They have more going on in their lives outside of your classroom. The hour to a day that you give them isn't the only part of their life. So you have to be patient and understand that some days they're going to give all, some days they're not. We have to remember that like as teachers, like our behavior like has to be intentional. Everything that we do is for a purpose and to better our students. And that is our presentation. Wesley, Cam, do y'all have anything that you want to add to this for like tips for any other like beginning teachers?
Um, I would just say if you're a beginning teacher, just make sure you're including everybody in your classroom. Just make sure you have an inclusive environment because it does make those students feel valued and respected. And I feel like once they feel more valued and respected, they give you more effort in return.
I agree. Wes, got
I would,
anything?
yeah, I would say the same thing that Cam said. Just create the inclusive environments and build those positive relationships so students feel comfortable in your classroom and comfortable to open up and share whatever they have.
I agree. Very good points. All right. Well, I think that is it. Cam, if you want to go ahead and in the video, we can.